Hey students, it's Mrs. Donahue, and this is the feedback on the exit tickets from the 10th and 11th of September. I thought we had a good first week. I mean, it still hasn't been a full 5 days of school, not that you'll ever have 5 full ones, but I think it's coming along all right. The subject of the exit ticket covered things like hybrid classes, questions in class. I'll pretty much go through them in order. The first things first was I said, did you have any trouble in class? So a few of you are still making the mistake of telling me I'm having problems with some videos, but you need to tell me which. So I have discovered on my end how to fix certain things, but I can't read your minds. In some way, send me a remind, send me an email, leave a comment on Classroom. Somehow tell me which ones were restricted or not working. You can't just say some didn't. It just makes it really hard for me to tackle the problem. However, it looked like many of you were doing all right. And technologically, it seems like far more of you are having fewer problems. So that's pretty good. When I asked, did you have any questions about today's lesson or about life? It seemed most of you went life. One of you asked a pretty profound question. I don't know if you intended it to be profound, but you said, can American lifestyle really be not what it seems? I don't know why you would pose the question like that, but when I read it, the thing I think about is we see American maybe lifestyle in one way. Is it really not what we think we're looking at? I would tell you yes. There's a lot of instances of American lifestyle looking one way and functioning a different way. We actually are going to talk about some of them fairly early in the school year too. Hypocrisy is one of the things that is going to come up as a theme in one of our early units. The idea that you talk a big game, but privately you don't live up to those same expectations. I think what you have to decide is whether or not American lifestyle is what you thought it was, as opposed to what it seems. There's frequently this assumption we make that how we understand something is how everyone understands it. And since that's not always the case, I think it's important that you start kind of piecing out when certain things are happening and why they're happening and whether or not you're seeing it the same way everyone else is. One of you asked my favorite question, which was, why would people ruin pizza by putting pineapple on it? How dare you? Pineapple pizza is amazing. You have to get it with bacon. Bacon's slightly better than the ham. Obviously must be on a thin crust, crisp pizza. You need a well-done pizza to support it because pineapple's very wet, creates sog. Maybe your problem is that you've had soggy pizza. You need to ask for well-done pizza, and you cannot have bready pizza. It's just going to absorb all the excess liquid. This has been Pizza Tips from Mrs. Donahue. One of you was saying, do you have to listen to all the covers? No. A total of 3 covers, the one required and 2 at least from the other list. How's your grade looking so far? By far and large, many of your grades look amazing. So in this early part of the year, usually I tell you don't freak out if your grade does look low, because 1-0, just 1-0 can dip you extra far down. If you haven't looked at Genesis, you should, just to check in and see kind of how the flow of the unit's going. You have a ton of grades from me so far. I would bet some of your other teachers have not put a single grade in, and I have about 5. You should all have hundreds as far as I'm concerned, unless even if I did the homework review for the hearing assignment, which is worth 55 points to you. I wasn't necessarily grading it on right and wrong answers because there are no right and wrong answers on that assignment. A lot of it was how you understood the question. So essentially it was, did you answer every portion? Some of you managed to do poorly on that assignment just because you didn't answer half the questions. A lot of you said it sucked that the weather's not been better. Sorry, it's going to turn around. We're going to get some fall-like weather going in soon. I can't wait for sweater weather. Some of you want more energy in class. Me too. It's the biggest struggle I'm having right now with hybrid schedule is that this energy level that I have for you guys usually performs in class. It's how I get the material across to you. And I'm having to sort of parcel my energy out in different ways. I have to almost save my energy for these videos. And it's not even like in the video, I can do the same stuff that I always did. Like I was very physical in class. I would move around a lot, and I can't really do that. It's a big adjustment, honestly. It's making me very antsy in my seat. I'm going to run out of things to do to get the excess energy out. So I really don't know what I'm going to do then. And then one of you made just like this great comment on American sort of racism in general. We're going to be talking so much about racism in America and rights in America. It's a topic that, because of its great importance and because it can so easily be mishandled if you don't do it the right way, I don't like to just kind of do little commentaries on it. I like to try as best I can to really give it the proper weight and time and space it deserves. But fear not, we're going to be talking a lot about human rights in the country. And don't forget, research paper. I'm not saying this in like some sort of heavy way, but in the research paper, you get free choice over your topic. I have yet to tell someone they couldn't do a topic that they asked me about. A lot of kids have found the research paper, if not fun, cathartic, because they get to write about something that either they're very passionate about or something that's bothering them. They get to devote a lot of time and energy to it. So if you already know that this is something that's on your mind, you could very well be staring at your research paper topic. I asked you guys how you felt about hybrid school. Honestly, I share a lot of your feelings. A lot of you are saying the word weird. I've been saying the word weird. Some of you are saying funky. Some of you are saying I don't see the point of coming in person because some of the teachers aren't even here. I'll be honest, I was one of the teachers trying to be out. I got denied. I agree in that if I can't be my normal jumping up and down all over the board, all of the kids in the classroom watching me, if I can't do that, that's live teaching. Live teaching is not me just talking to you from the front of the classroom while I'm trying really hard not to accidentally give you a better lesson than the kids at home. Like that's the big struggle. I'm trying not to give the kids in the classroom a better lesson than the ones at home. Because you shouldn't have unequal lessons. They should be of equal value. If I can't do it the way it should be done, I think they shouldn't do it at all. Like it should just all be digital. Because it's functioning pretty much like digital, but I'm babysitting you in the room. As some of you with the hybrid model were saying you want to be back in school every day, I can understand from your perspective. If I was your age, it would depend a lot on where I was, I guess emotionally and physically, like where I grew up, when I grew up, and where I grew up. I was the only kid my age on the entire block. I mean, around the cul-de-sac, down the big, like even half of Cloverdale Circle, that's over where I grew up. When I was growing up, I was the only one my age there. The other kids were all either a lot older than me or a little bit younger than me, and I just didn't have any friends. So, like, school was the only place I saw people my age. If I was you and I'd already been, like, 7 months into quarantine, I'd be a little bit desperate to go see my own friends again. However, I'm also deeply antisocial, and a lot of the things I like doing best are kind of solo activities. I like reading, I like writing. I can do all these things alone in a room. In fact, they're better alone in a room. So part of me doesn't mind the isolation, but I imagine if some of you are like me, where you don't have people around you ever, you're probably feeling very lonely, and I feel bad for you about it. I imagine that some of you also really are ready to be done with your homes. You're getting to the age where you're ready to spread your wings and kind of go out. And I imagine some of you, it's gotten worse since you've been on quarantine. Please know that if it's just the normal outgrowing your little nest and you're ready to spread your wings feeling, it's all going to be fine. If there's anything else going on, do let me know. Don't suffer in silence. I can help. Some of you are saying that you're all virtual, or that you're going to go all virtual because you don't see the point of school. We went from having 160 kids virtual last week to having over 200 this week. So I imagine many of you are having that thought process, that staying at school doesn't seem to be doing much. And some of you who are in school, maybe because you have to be, maybe because you can't stay at home, are saying you're not feeling comfortable because it's not very socially distant. It is not very socially distant. I agree with you. I mean, the desks in the classroom are definitely not 6 feet apart. I did like that they actually put barriers up for you guys that were the size of the desks as opposed to mine, which is hardly the size of my desk. I feel more comfortable than I did the very first day. I do. I feel more comfortable. I've been going every day, and when I go home at 12:30, I change my clothes so that the clothes I wore at school aren't the ones I pick up my children with. And I made the last couple of days the kind of mental concession to leave my pants on, which was like a big mental concession for me. I was like, I think my pants are probably safe. They're probably safe. And like, that was a big thing I was very, very nervous about. One of you was saying you could use a mask break during school. Dude, I feel you. My classroom used to be just mine. So during the days where you guys were all virtual, I was in my classroom. And if no one was in there, I could take the mask off. And that's just not the case because they loaned my classroom out for every period I wasn't in there. So when I'm in the building, it's on all day. I'm like hot by the end of it. It's just rough. You virtual kids, I'm very jealous of how often you wear sweatpants because that's where I'd be right now. And I asked you guys about a weekly journal. This would be something that I wouldn't even grade. It would probably be optional, but I would give you time to like work on it. And those who didn't want to work on it could have like a study hall almost. Not for the full period, but like for the 20 minutes we were doing a journal or whatever. And I said, would you like something to like vent your feelings? I struggle with how often or how thoroughly to integrate your quarantine feelings into our lessons. So like, I don't know really if like I should make it part of what we're doing or if I should ignore it a little bit because I don't want to make you think about it if it's upsetting you. It's a very big struggle, honestly. We're obviously all going through it together, and I just don't, frankly, know how much of it to include. I might play around with the journal, although 55% of you said no to it, so maybe that tells me that most of you are good not talking about it. But it's almost even, so the other half want it. Moving forward, just make sure you are more specific with your problems. The more specific you are about your problems, the more helpful I can be. And that goes for anything. If you have a question on the readings, on the writings, on the homeworks, ask. There's no such thing as too many questions. There's no such thing as a silly question. And specifics are very useful. I do not take any of it personally. So like just because I made the assignment doesn't mean that you understand the assignment, and that has nothing to do, my opinion of you doesn't change because you ask me questions. So like your opinion of all of it, you're allowed to have. I'm not going to in any way like take offense to any questions you ask. All right, that has been the exit ticket review. Stay posted for the other part of the assignment. Bye guys.